Alright, so hello guys. It's Vihor here, otherwise known as Sketchboy. I'm here for my first narrated recording session, tutorial, what have you. And for today we're going to be using this panel from Shingeki no Kyojin to teach you how to do hair coloring, the Vihura way. So hair is surprisingly easy, even though it tends to be one of the most complex parts of actual line art. Coloring it, usually you can do without too much hassle because it's just a lot of strokes. Honestly, the hardest part about doing hair is just it's boring at some points. But so what do you need to do? So first what you're going to do is, I already created it, but you're going to want to add a layer over your hair layer. And you're going to want to clip that and set it to multiply. Now what this will basically do is once I fill this in with a color, it will just darken the hair in that shade. So let's use blue, keeping with the tone of the scene. Go up here to pencil, and now Zeke has blue hair. Well, it's not really blue; it's more like a shade. So now what you want to do is you just kind of want to start going along the lighter edges and just start blocking out color. At first, you're just going to want to do it in nice big strokes. So I'm just going to be silent for this portion of the video. It's very boring, but we'll get to the fun part later. Alright, so now that you've blocked out some of the more bluer tones, you can go in and add the harder tones. Now bear in mind that all these steps will actually come later if you're doing something like something that was originally inked out. So if it's pure black, you're going to have to add the color of the hair over the line art hair first and then do this. Otherwise it just won't work. Alright, so now we have our light. If you want, you can change to a slightly different tone as you're adding in some more shade. Here under the lip works, under the nose. It really depends a lot on where your light is. In this scene, the light is coming from around here-ish, so you kind of want to have a bit of a cast shadow across the hair, but not too much. You can switch it up, use a G pen, whatever's preferable. I just find that combination of pencil and G pen make the nicest strokes for this. You basically just want to trace along the edges. Okay, so at this point, what should happen is you should have something like this, just a bunch of light and dark strokes all mishmashed together. Um, if you want, you can always go down onto the original layer, the one that's not set to multiply, and just take a lighter tone. I'll do it for sake of demonstration, but you don't really have to do this because all this will be done later when you start adding adds and multiplies and whatnot. But I'll just go over this in a nice lighter tone. Right. Okay, so now what you're going to want to do is you have all of your stuff blocked out, so you're going to want to switch to a watercolor. I usually set my load color to 0 and my ease of mixing to 100, and then because of my pressure sensitivity, I just dial down the opacity all the way and just, well, blend it straight in. You kind of want to be careful with these kinds of parts. You don't want them to You don't want it to blend too well because then you'll lose a lot of the strokes that you originally put in. So you kind of want to just feather out the edges a little bit, give it a little bit of that oily shine, especially for a scene like this where Zeke just exited out of the Titan, so he's probably going to be sweaty, probably going to be oily, disgusting man. One could even say he's got that sweaty LD ass that he loves so much. Alright, so now you have what is essentially a spaghetti mess of hair. If you take away the line art, it looks pretty decent, all things considered. You can always go back and add some harder tones here and there. That doesn't really matter too much in this case. We're just trying to get this part done, so after you're done with this, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go into the layer. In 1 second, I'll clear my throat. You're going to want to go onto the above the line art layer. You're going to want to set this to add. Now you're going to want to take your selection tool, switch it to add to an addition selection. You can do this on basically any program. I'm using Medibang just because. And just start blocking out little areas. This is a technique that a lot of American comic colorists use. It really gives you that. It really gives like a really hard light. There's a divide between where it starts and where it ends, which I really like. It's an aesthetic that not a lot of people who color manga use, and well, it works. And then we'll move from this to the beard. Okay, and at this point you should be just about ready to take the final step in the whole coloring hair thing. So just go to airbrush, find a nice color. I'm going to go with this kind of peachy color. Then you're going to want to, this part you have to be really careful about. You just want to color with like the edges of the circle. If it's too heavy, you're going to really oversaturate, and that doesn't look good at all. So just be gentle with it, be patient. If you're using a pressure sensitivity pen, really light strokes. Back out to his face, and we should be done. So now you've got little highlights everywhere. If you feel like the highlights aren't strong enough, you can always just back in and strengthen them up a little bit. But I would suggest not doing this too much, because eventually the dude just looks like God. Of course, go for the snazzy little highlights where you can. Blue is always a nice little contrast to just about anything. So, and that's all for now on coloring hair. Thanks for watching. Bye.